Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Is it cold where you are, Anthony?
I don't know if I would call where I'm at cold right now. I misspoke earlier. It is with the wind chill. It is 19 below zero right now. Last night when I looked, it was 42 below zero.
42 Fahrenheit. So hold on a minute. Let me just see, because I still, obviously, being English, to really understand those kind of temperatures, I need it in Celsius. Hey, Siri, what is minus 42? What is minus 42 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? That is, off. It's not giving me. It's giving me a link.
Oh,
it's giving me a link. It's cold. We know that.
Yeah, it's cold. I went to the Kansas City Chiefs game on Saturday and took one of my kids, and it was the actual temperature was like, I don't know, it was 18 below zero. But with the wind chill, it was like 40 below. It was insane. It was crazy. I want to say Tom Brady. Did his helmet, but Tom Brady's retired, right? No, Patrick Mahomes, his helmet cracked.
Patrick Mahomes, that's who it was. Yeah, his helmet cracked because of the cold.
Yeah, it was insane. So I went to go buy 2 beers for me, and took my daughter, one of her friends, and her friend's dad. It's a family we hang out with a lot. So I went and got them hot chocolate and got 2 beers. Well, where I sit, where you get drinks and food and the little bar in there, like that's inside and heated. So in the 45 seconds it took me to walk, once I got outside to hand the beer off, they were already slushies. So we had to chug the beers, and people's drinks were like flowing over because they were freezing. And like the coolers that have the glass coolers that have the waters in them, where they had these really tall, like smart waters. And there's a video going around the internet of someone opening the cooler, taking the water out, shutting the door, and then you can see it freeze from the top to the bottom instantly. It was crazy.
That is crazy. And it's bloody miserable.
Yeah,
I mean, so the sun's shining, I'm assuming, though, with that kind of temperature.
Oh yeah. And the sun is it's like this just lights it up. You don't feel anything, right? But the snow is like crazy. I can do snow and I can do cold. But we have them both right now. Like in my backyard, I had to use the snowblower in my backyard for my grass because the snow is taller than my dogs. So I had to like scoop them a path and then snow blow into the grass so they had somewhere to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Wow. Well, no, it's crazy. I mean, as I said before, we were just back in England. I think I'd rather have that than just rain.
Yeah.
Cold, but nowhere near as cold as that. It was cold. By that standards, it was chilly. Hold on, what's this?
Oh, it's that water.
God.
Yeah, as soon as they take it out. Like the refrigerators are actually keeping stuff warm. So it's drinkable, not keeping it cold.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And that's right by my seats. It's crazy.
Wow. Anyway, so that's what I thought. I thought you must be cold because you got the beanie on. Looking good.
Crazy. Oh, yeah,
looking good.
Crazy.
I tell you who else was looking good at the weekend, Magomed Ankalaev. We'll start with that, and I'm very, very intrigued to know your take on that fight. Obviously, you know these guys very well yourself. Big fight, big finish for Magomed Ankalaev. Talk me through it, Anthony.
Yeah, he just does what he did what he does. I'm so impressed with him. He was so difficult to fight, not because he was overwhelming or because his power stood out or he's just so fundamentally sound. He just does everything right. His hands are always in the right spot. He checks lots of kicks. He can wrestle phenomenally defensively and offensively. The only thing that I could really, as a knock I could put on him, is that he's not a big submission threat, but you don't really have to be. That's just one thing that's just not part of his game, but it's not something that's necessary. He does a pretty good job with his top control, and he just is fundamentally sound all the way around. He never gets all out of sorts. He never really overextends too much on his punches. His feet are always in the right spot. He switches stances at times that gives you a different look. but not too much to where he's kind of going back and forth. He fights out of the southpaw stance, and that's kind of how the finish happened. He started off as a southpaw, switched the stance, and then landed a right hand, and he switched kind of in that chaotic kind of transition position they were in on their feet. I've always been really impressed with him. There's not a lot of opportunity to get in on him. I think Blachowicz did a good job of attacking the legs. Johnny Walker kind of picked that up right away and started doing that. But and kind of, Johnny's kryptonite is he's hittable. When he's, I had a tough time getting to him, but some of it is just his size, and I didn't have the wrestling threat maybe that an Ankalaev has. So there wasn't the worry so much of me getting a takedown on him. And he's just a really good boxer. Ankalaev did a better job than I did, and he dealt with the leg kicks better than I did early. Was messed with my movement. I wasn't able to get in too deep on Johnny Walker, but defensively, Johnny Walker has some problems at times.
Yeah, when we spoke to him at the fighter meetings, he said he was very confident that Ankalaev couldn't take him down because of what happened in the first fight, because he was in a compromised position against the fence on one knee and never went to his back. So he said, that's going to allow me to come out and throw way more confidently. And that's what he did. He did go out. He did throw. He was reckless, if you ask me, in what he was throwing. He kept spinning almost every 5 to 10 seconds, which against somebody trying to, supposedly you might think he's trying to take you down. Not a good idea. I think what we saw from Johnny was because, when he first came to the UFC, he was known for being wild and unpredictable and all the rest of it. But then, with John Kavanagh, he kind of tamed that wildness a little bit. Yeah. He was back to how he used to be. He was like, there wasn't much setups. He was just throwing anything.
That's the Johnny Walker I wanted.
Yeah.
Was the one that fought on Saturday.
Yeah.
The slow, methodical, very thoughtful, calculated Johnny Walker is really, really hard to fight because he manages his distance well. He's very big. He's fast. He's explosive. He's athletic. He moves differently. That when he's methodical and very, very calculated in what he's doing, and he's kind of fighting behind a plan, he's really tough to fight. He really is. But the jumping, spinning, crazy shit. It's the unpredictable stuff is easier to deal with.
Throwing axe kicks in the first few seconds and stuff like that.
I would have killed to have him spin on me a couple times.
Axe kick me in the face, for crying out loud, please. Yeah,
please do something crazy. For the love of God. Like open up. Open up and give me some crazy shit so I can work my way into the mix. But when he's on the outside, kind of playing target and being, like throwing darts at you, it's tough.
I think for Magomed, it was just a case of he was just covering up, sticking to his basics. He was cutting off the cage. He was doing everything right. He was fighting very, very technically, and I think he was letting Johnny get that nervous energy, get that initial release, get that out of his system, wear him down, figure out his reads, his timing, and then go to work in round 2. And that's essentially what we saw. And that finish was beautiful. I mean, that right hook that he landed, dropped him, and that follow-up shot. I mean, Rebecca never mentions the fights, but she was watching Saturday night. She was bored. She was like, oh my God, that follow-up punch. I think it was an uppercut. Boom. Yeah. It was, a heavy shot. My God, I did the right thing. Great stoppage. No protest from Johnny Walker, of course, because all he did was cover up. If he didn't stop the fight, it would have been another 2, 3, 4 punches, whatever. Magomed Ankalaev, he looks brilliant. He really did. I mean, he did the right thing. He just covered up, be a defensive shell. You're still going to offer a threat, cut the cage off and all that type of stuff, but let him wear himself out. Let him get this nervous energy out and then use the fundamentals. And once again, wild stuff is great. Axe kicks, spinning stuff, spinning elbows. We love to see that. Yuri Prochazka, the way he knocked out Dominic Reyes, that double elbow spinning attack. Amazing. We love to see that shit. But you got to mix that in with the fundamentals, with the jabs, with the footwork, with the high guard and all the rest of it. That's how you win fights. He called out Alex Pereira. What do you think? What do you think's next?
Oh man, it's tough. It's really it's tough to tell with Jamal Hill. You gotta kind of make that right. But I don't know that Jamal's ready. When he's ready, I think Jamal should get a shot. I think they need to just operate normally as normal. And when Jamal's ready, he slides in, gets his title shot, and we see what happens there. But yeah, I'm good. I think that's probably the next title fight. I think that he earned it. I think he deserves it. And that's a tough fight for Pereira.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's a tough fight for both men.
Yeah. I think it's a nightmare matchup for Alex.
Who, Magomed?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It's a nightmare.
100%. Yeah, because
probably the hardest fight in the division for Alex Pereira.
So Harrington put it here. He said that Magomed said, I could have taken him down right away and won the fight with my ground and pound. But instead, I wanted to send a message. I wanted to stand and I wanted to knock him out. And that's what I did. Now, for Glover to share it, I have a message. Don't waste your time in trying to teach your student how to wrestle or grapple. He's not going to need it. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to stand across from him. And I know he's been knocked out before as a middleweight. So imagine what's going to happen if I meet him in light heavyweight. Trust me, he's not going to feel comfortable there. Then he went on to claim he has a more legit claim to a light heavyweight title than Jamal Hill. He said, I think here the math works out. The way I'm more deserving of the belt because I have 10 victories, 6 of them knockouts, and Jamal has 8 victories total in the UFC. So it's just clear that I'm a more deserving contender than Jamal Hill. Now, instantly, I will say this. I understand, but that's math. It's MMA math. Jamal Hill was the champion of the world, and he stepped away, relinquished the belt, whatever term you want to use. So I disagree with Magomed Ankalaev there, but what do you think about him saying that he won't use wrestling whatsoever against Alex Pereira?
You're a liar. I mean, I get it though, like a little bit of, a little bit of gamesmanship, like create some hype, get some attention drawn to it. I like it. You're too good of a wrestler to go in there with a guy like Alex Pereira and not wrestle. That's crazy. Yeah. There may be a chance that maybe he goes in there and he knocks him out early and he doesn't need to. And I look like an idiot, but I think there's a good chance that he's a smart fighter and he's intelligent. And he's going to go in there. He's going to mix it up. Even if he's not fully committing to a shot, let Alex Pereira know that you're willing to wrestle. Go in there and be a mixed martial artist. Why risk the one thing that you want most in the world to try to prove something? Be a well-rounded mixed martial artist like you are and mix it up and your striking is going to be more competitive. It's going to be more effective if you do wrestle because it's going to open it up a little bit, because now you give Alex Pereira 2 things to worry about. Alex Pereira with no threat of a takedown, it's a dangerous guy.
Yeah, because as you say, you got to take the path of least resistance. What are you trying to achieve? You're trying to become champion of the world. You're not trying to prove to the world that you can stand with Alex Pereira. I'm sure that he can. And Magomed is a really good striker. That front kick against Dalcha Lungiambula, the stoppage of Iwan Kutalaba, obviously that on Saturday night against Johnny Walker. He's a vicious striker. And I think he's got a good point. That was at middleweight. He knocked him out 185. We hit harder, we're bigger, etc., etc. I do think Pereira having that massive weight cut definitely was a factor in that, not taking anything away from Izzy. But yeah, it's not a dick measuring contest. It's a fight, and you want to fight for the belt. Jamal Hill was there in the building. So when Magomed said, he said, I'm next for the belt, I was like, I'm on the microphone. What do I say? This is an awkward position. Yeah. Jamal's in the building. He's saying that because I'm like, you know what? You're kind of right. Yeah. But Jamal is in the building and he's training. He was training when we saw him in New York. What is your last update or speaking to Jamal? Do you know anything?
Yeah, I seen him the night of my fight, actually, when I fought Khalil. And he's rehabbing, he's working his way back in. He's pretty sly with me too, like where I think he's afraid that I'm gonna like slip up and say something on here or something, but he just said he's just waiting. We went out and had a drink and hung out, and he said he's just waiting to be able to go 100%. I still think he's still rehabbing, he's still working on it, but he's got some targeted dates in mind. He's just got to let his body do its thing. And that's why I say, like, just let the division operate as normal. And then when he's ready, just jump in. Like, I don't think we need to wait on him per se. Like, he'll be ready when he's ready, and he's next when he's ready.
So basically then he's not ready yet.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I don't think he could fight right now.
So then that makes sense that Magomed would be next. I mean,
I think so.
There's nobody else. I tell you what. You got to say Magomed Ankalaev beats Pereira, right? On paper, it looks to be a bad matchup.
It does look to be a bad matchup.
For Pereira. Jesus, you guys is kicking in. It's the mental names. I'm rushing. I'm still high off my cold plunge.
It does look to be that Magomed Ankalaev has an advantage over Alex Pereira.
How would you know, Brian? See if you can find some odds, because there's already circulation going around that Magomed and Pereira are being booked on Twitter, unofficial sources, and MMA Orbit and all these kinds of Twitter accounts and stuff. So there might be some odds out there, but if there is a bet that you want to put on, if there would be an almost guarantee, it's going to be on Magomed Ankalaev, because he's going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle him. I think he can stand, and that would be fun. But as you say, you mix it up, you take him down, you take the path of least resistance, and you become champion of the world. Ideally, when do you see that fight going down? Because Magomed took no damage.
Yeah, he took 0 damage. We're in January now. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't do it in May or June. Beginning of the summer. Yeah. And I think that there is a world that exists where Pereira goes out and lands a couple pretty heavy leg kicks and kind of compromises Ankalaev's movement. We did see Johnny Walker land some pretty good leg kicks on him. Alex Pereira's leg kicks are better. I think they're better targeted for sure. There's a world that exists where he lands a couple of really heavy leg kicks and really hinders the way that Ankalaev can move, and then does leave him out there to dry kind of on his feet. He would have to do that early, but it's possible for sure. But I think if I'm betting, if I have to put my entire livelihood on it, I'm gonna put it all on Ankalaev.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Okay, so I guess we'll wait and see on that. Jim Miller, Gabriel Benitez. I'll tell you what, it was a good night of fights at the weekend, right from the get-go. Big knockouts early. Did you watch all the fights, Anthony? Were you at home literally chilling in the freezing cold temperatures?
Literally chilling. No, I did watch the co-main and main though.
Yeah.
And I was going to go back and watch the rest of them today.
Hold on. Here's Harrington in the notes here. Harrington, just jump on and say it yourself. Reading with this bloody content lens is not my forte.
So I wasn't able to find odds for a prospective matchup between Pereira and Ankalaev, but Pereira did comment on the Ankalaev call out. He said, guys, let's focus on what matters, which is Jamal Hill. Then I'll focus on breaking another record by making 2 title defenses in the shortest time possible.
What a businessman.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of that? Do you think that's
I think I would say the same thing too if I was him. I think that stylistically, Jamal Hill, it's very clear. Jamal is going to stand across from you, and he's going to let them things go and see what happens.
Jamal's not a wrestler.
He's not a wrestler.
He's not a wrestler.
And you know what? And I got a lot of belief in Jamal in terms of a fight with Pereira. I've trained with him a bunch. That dude's tricky. He's tricky. He's got a different style, and it's hard to handle. But he's not a wrestler. If I was the guy with the skill set and wrestling ability of Alex Pereira, I'd probably want Jamal Hill too.
Yeah. It remains to be seen, but
which I get. That's all business. I get that. Yeah, I understand it. I mean,
if Jamal isn't ready, the UFC, they're churning out fights, right? We need main events. We got still waiting on the main event of UFC 300. There's all kinds of big events going to happen this year. They're not going to wait. If he's not ready, they're going to make another fight.
Right. And to be clear, I'm not saying that Alex Pereira is being a pussy. I'm choosing the former world champion that never lost the title. Is not like you're taking an easier path. But as a businessman, I would absolutely argue that he's making a decision based on his skill set compared to the skill sets of the contenders.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, and 2024 is the time that you need to start taking care of your mental health. And BetterHelp offer the most convenient, easiest way to do that. Okay, you do it all entirely online. They'll match you with a licensed professional therapist in no time at all, and you can get to work. You can start improving your mental health. You can start becoming the version of you that you always wanted to be, handling those problems, those self-demons, that self-sabotage, the drinking, the smoking, the not working out, the anxiety, the temper issue, the substance abuse issues, whatever it is. Speaking to one of the licensed professional therapists, that BetterHelp offer will be the way forward, be the way, to start dealing with that issue. Speaking to somebody, certainly a professional, listen, it is massively, massively underrated. If you haven't started, give it a try, and there's no better time to do it because, as I say, it's 2024. So if you want to give therapy a try, start with BetterHelp. It's entirely online, as I said, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So what more are you waiting for? Take the bull by the horns and start getting better with BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. That is betterhelp.com/believe. Let's talk about this co-main event though. Jim Miller, unbelievable, right? We've had him on the show before. I reached out, tried to get him on today. As I said to you earlier, he hasn't looked at his social media. He hasn't even seen it because he's too much of a decent human being. He hasn't gone to Las Vegas, had another sensational fight, then coming back and looking at Instagram. He's chopping wood. He's hunting the dinner. He's out hunting right now.
He's growing food.
He's growing. Yeah. He's what else could he be doing? What else is wholesome?
He's definitely chopping wood to heat his house.
Chopping wood, he's shoveling snow.
He's probably fixing a tractor at some point.
Fixing a tractor.
Yeah.
He's gathering money for homeless people. He's feeding families.
Right.
Yeah, looking at social media.
Probably shoveling out the old lady next door, the neighbor lady looking after her.
Shoveling her out.
Yeah.
Is that a term?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
When you got like a neighbor that's snowed in, you got to shovel them out.
I'm going to go shovel out.
Or if she's a good looking old lady, that looks different too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go shovel out Mrs. Johnson next door. Anyway, Jim Miller, Gabriel Benitez. Jim Miller, that was his 43rd UFC fight. Isn't that unbelievable?
That's crazy.
43 fights in the UFC, the most ever, 26 wins. I think that was his 20th submission. I mean, he's got records just galore. And no sign of slowing down. I thought that Jim Miller Saturday night against Benitez looked absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, he looked incredible, man. It's like he's not aging. And in fact, he might be looking the way that he's kind of taking care of himself and his lifestyle and his just he seems to be ageless. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's impressive. It's motivating, as another fighter that as I'm getting older, you want to look to see how you can, make that road a little longer possibly and stay healthy. And man, I love everything about it. I also love that they asked him about the Brock Lesnar thing in his media day. And he agreed.
No, he did. I still think you're out of your mind, but he said 50.
Dean Thomas said the same thing. He thought he was
really
too. He did.
Dean Thomas is out of his mind as well. I'm sorry. It'll be a Hulk smash. He'll pick him up. He'll slam him down. He'll take a shit on his head and then go about his business.
People were so angry. People are so angry.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Get it together, Smith. The leg kicks. Leg kicks of Jim Miller, man. He tore up the thigh of Gabriel Benitez. Speaking of Dean Thomas, he said on the broadcast, he said, Jim's making a mistake. He needs to go down to the calf, right? And Jim Miller's an old school guy. Do you know what I mean? Remember back in the day, it was all kicks to the thigh. The calf kicks just didn't exist. My God. Gabriel Benitez is limping around, maybe not even walking today because that thigh was a mess. Power in the hands. Got the takedown, got the face crank in round 3. I mean, another classic performance. Then on the microphone, calls out, all right, Brock Lesnar maybe. There's potential talks of a Paul Felder. But he calls out Matt Brown. I thought that was a surprising call out. Stepping up a weight class, taking on Matt Brown, a man that's way bigger, the most knockouts. What did you think of that call out?
Yeah, I'm a big Matt Brown fan. I love that guy, but he's a big welterweight. Matt Brown's a really big guy. He could fight at middleweight and wouldn't look any different than the rest of the guys in the division. So I think that's tough with just a size difference there. Stylistically, it's a good, that's a good fight for Jim Miller if he can get in there, get a takedown. Matt Brown's more than capable on the ground, but
of course,
he's never been known to be like a real powerful wrestler. So I mean, I think Jim could probably get a takedown. I think it'd be cool. I love the old veteran matchups, like the Cowboy Cerrone versus Matt Brown, and then Cowboy versus Jim Miller, and we were going to get Jim Miller versus Lozon. Like, I just really, really like those fights. So I'm all in. I like that a lot.
Oh,
Even Felder. I like to see Felder in the mix too. That'd be a lot of fun. Although they're more veteran than him. You know, they've all been around a while. I like that.
Yeah. No, I was just surprised stepping up a weight class. I don't think Jim Miller's ever fought at 170, right? Certainly not in the UFC.
Not that I can remember, no.
Yeah. No, so well done, Jim Miller. Absolute legend of the game. And it's nice to see somebody like that who is, you know, obviously on Friday, Manel Kopp missed weight. And there was a tweet going around, 43 fights in the UFC, never missed weight, never any controversy with this man. You know what I mean? Just a good old-fashioned hard worker, keeps his head down, does his work, does his job, shows up every single time, puts on great performances. Okay, granted, he doesn't always get the win, but he's still top of the food chain, you know, and still going strong at 40 years old, putting on those kind of performances. He's an inspiration. I said that on the microphone, and I totally mean that. It's unreal. And it just shows if you look after yourself, you know, 40 years old with that kind of wear and tear on the body, but not slowing down in the slightest.
Do you think he's like Hall of Fame material?
Was it DC recently that said that who was it DC said shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame?
I think it was Jim Miller. That's why I was asking.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because DC thought, or he said that you need to be a champion. I disagree. I don't think you need to be a champion to be in the Hall of Fame, because otherwise that also almost makes it, when you become a champion, you then almost a shoe in for the Hall of Fame. So I don't think so. I think the lasting.
Well, like the Jamal Hill situation is what you like. Jamal's a champion, but we could argue that Jim Miller's more accomplished as far as the records and the stats and the amount of time and the fights and all that stuff. No, not a knock on Jamal. He just,
of course,
he had his title reign cut short due to injury.
But you got to leave your mark on this sport in some way, shape, or form to stand out above the rest. And when you look at Jim Miller and the legends that he set, let me just bring up his Wikipedia page, because as you say, hasn't been a champion, been in there with some of the best, still going strong. On his Wikipedia page, the list of accomplishments just goes on and on and on. So I do think, I do. Certainly, if he steps up to 170 at UFC 300, fights at 100, 200, 300, the most fights, maybe the most wins, tons of submissions.
Top five Octagon time.
Top five Octagon time. Yeah. No, for sure.
He did take one fight at welterweight versus Cowboy.
Oh, that's right. And he beat Cowboy, right?
He did. Submitted.
Submission, second round?
I believe so. Guillotine. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Guillotine at 132 in the second round. You guys nailed it.
And he looked good. Yeah, I watched that last week.
Yeah, it looked really good.
He was really, really competitive on the feet as well against Cowboy. So, yeah, no, for sure. Let me throw a name at you. Harrington. How you doing, Harrington?
I'm good. Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing about Jim Miller that I thought was kind of cool. He said from 2015 to 2017, he doesn't remember those years at all because he was battling Lyme's disease. So to your point, Michael, he is a better fighter in 2023 than he was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Mario Bautista. Do you know much about him, Anthony? Does he train with your guys? He doesn't.
No.
Right. Well, I tell you what, he had a bloody good performance Saturday night. He went up against Ricky Simone. I'm telling you what, Mario Bautista, he was on a 5-fight win streak. Obviously, that's 6 now. Ricky Simone, no walk in the park for anyone. Power puncher, good wrestling. Of course, coming off of the loss to Song Yadong, but he got to the 5th round. He looked good in it. Mario Bautista, though, man. This man's on fire. He's unbelievable. That performance Saturday night, the footwork from him, the boxing combinations, the takedown defense, when he did get up, the ability to get back to the feet and the pace, it was amazing. It really was. That was a really special performance.
I think I seen the finish. It was a finish, right?
No, I think it was a decision.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just seen a highlight though. I think I did see a highlight, but not a.
He's good. Keep an eye on that name in the bantamweight division. He beat Ricky Simone. Ricky Simone was ranked 13. 13. There you go. So he'll be ranked. I'm telling you, big things. Bantamweight division, that is heating up. It is absolutely bloody stacked. Bruno Ferreira got the job done, knocked out Phil Hawes. Waldo Cortez Acosta got the job done against Andrei Arlovsky. I know you didn't see the fight, but let me throw this to you. Waldo Cortez Acosta came off the Contender Series. He's from the Dominican Republic. He's a big dude. He used to play baseball. He hits really hard. He's fighting Andrei Arlovski. As we know, Arlovski, almost 45, been with the UFC since 2000. He's a legend. Right. He will be another Hall of Famer. Throughout the fight, there was a lot of showboating, would be one word. They call Cortez Acosta the salsa boy. He was dancing and stuff. He was totally looking over there. He was like, he was mocking Arlovski. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a fanboy of Arlovski because he's been around so long. But I wasn't a fan of that. What do you think?
I'm not typically a big fan of the showboating. I do get really into the trash talk though. Like I enjoy the trash talking during the fights. I don't know why, but that's because that's a moment between two men that, like Bobby Green. I think sometimes Bobby Green has got to talk himself into it. And so I enjoy that. And I've done it at times myself, but the kind of the showboating bullshit, I'm never a big fan of, especially if it's someone that's really respectable across from you. Javier Torres is Waldo's coach. And
right.
I cannot imagine that Javier is very happy about that.
Yeah, but as you were talking there, I just did a complete 180. I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, you're standing in an octagon. The guy's trying to knock your head off. If you want to F with him a little bit, if you want to get into his head, fair enough, I guess. Like he would kick.
Yeah, great, but I just don't enjoy it so much.
Yeah. I mean, because I said this on commentary Saturday night. I remember meeting Arlovski. I shared a locker room with him at UFC 70. And I was like, wow, that's Andrei Arlovski. And this is when Arlovski was in his prime. He was jacked. He was built. No, you saw it back then. He was jacked. And I'm not saying anything, just pointing out the details. And I finally drummed up the courage to say hi. Do you know what I mean? Hey, nice to meet you. And he's yes. He's a man of few words. He didn't say much. He does not say much at all. So anyway, fair play though. So Arlovski would kick him and he'd be like, ooh, like just mocking him. Do you know what I mean? And I guess, at the end of the day, he's trying to knock his head off. So shout out to Arlovski, another man like Jim Miller, still not going quite as strong, but the fact he's still in there, that's amazing. So Harrington, before we get into UFC 297 stuff, Dricus Du Plessis, Sean Strickland coming out with a few quotes. Give us a non-MMA story.
Yes.
All right, Michael Bisping. Let's say, in the unfortunate event that you crashed your car, who would you want to come help?
Probably a fireman.
That's a good choice.
Ambulance, Anthony. Any suggestions?
Probably a tow truck.
Okay.
Fuck the tow truck. That's to help in the car.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably the police.
All right. What about all four wrapped up in one? The great American himself, Hulk Hogan, came to the scene.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing there, brother? You need a little hand. So what happened?
A teenage girl crashed her car. I believe it was on the roadside in Florida. Before any EMT, police, fire, anything was able to get there, Hulk Hogan was the first man on the scene. TMZ got those pictures there. And he helped a person in need.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to expect that Hulk Hogan's going to show up every single time. I don't need any ambulance, no police. Hulk Hogan. You just wouldn't expect that, would you? Hulk Hogan.
I'm trying to think. What was that thing? What involved? Was there some scandal a few years ago with Hulk Hogan? Yeah. I mean, fair play. But what was the scandal? I forget what it was.
So Hulk Hogan was banging his daughter's friend who looked exactly like his daughter.
Well, no, it was deeper than that because he was. I don't remember it being his daughter's friend, but he was.
It was deep. Was he shoveling her out?
He was shoveling her out. There was a couple, and he was like, the husband had given permission for Hulk Hogan to sleep with his wife, but then they recorded it, but privately, the husband and the wife. So Hulk Hogan is just balls deep in this guy's wife, and they're recording it, and then they upload it to this website. Harrington, what was the name of the website?
I don't remember the name of the website, but I know Bubba the Love Sponge is the gentleman who is involved in it. Tampa radio legend and my personal enemy, Bubba the Love Sponge.
So they recorded, they put it on this website, and then it leaks, and everybody in the world sees it. And Hulk Hogan goes and sues the website.
Gawker was the website.
Gawker, that's right, and he got hundreds of millions of dollars. The whole shut the whole company down, bankrupted the whole company, got several, like a couple $100,000 million or a couple $100 million. Oh yeah,
get out of town. And did they pay him? Because it's one thing suing somebody.
I mean, it shut the entire company down. Like they took him completely out of business.
Wow.
So I'm assuming, and I think that he appealed it, and then through the appeal, they gave him more money at the end of it. So I think Gawker appealed it, and then when they came back, they ended up owing more money than they did initially.
Yeah.
You know a lot about the love life and the escapades of one Hulk Hogan. I just said, wasn't there a bit of a scandal?
Oh yeah,
Anthony gives us a blow by blow, play by play, every single little bit. I lost it when you said Bubba the Love Sponge. About sex tapes, and it involves Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah. So he got $115 million in compensatory. That's not how you say that. Challenges, and $25 million in punitive damages. So he got
a shit ton of money. Well, here's what I do. Here's what I do.
To shovel her out.
Harrington, you say it got up 25 million in the appeal?
Yeah. So when they went back for the appeal, then he got the extra 25 million tacked on.
It says that's here amazing. That they reached a settlement and for just 31 million in total.
Yeah, that's still pretty good though.
You know, I kind of go on.
Here's why I know a lot about that kind of shit. Here's something I do in my free time. I watch live trials. So me and my wife are like into murder mysteries and shows and stuff like that. I've graduated to watching the actual live trial happening. So if there's like a high profile or crazy trial going on, you can find these links and websites that stream them. So you can watch all the testimony, the cross-examination, you can be there, like you can just have it on a screen somewhere on like a TV or whatever during the jury deliberation, and it's just like a timer, and it'll give you a notification when the jury has reached a verdict, and they come back in the courtroom. You can watch it and all the sentencing. Hulk Hogan, that was like a try, one of the ones that was was
so
live.
You watched it live.
I watched the trial.
Watching a court case, a lot of it can be boring. You know what I mean? A lot of
it's good background music. It's like good background sound though. Like if you're cleaning the house and I just have it like in my AirPods, then like I'm not super focused on it, so I can focus on whatever I'm doing. And then if something exciting happens, and you can listen for a second. But
the cross-examination though of the main witness, that'll be fun. Like the big one last year, weren't it? It was Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. When we were just back in England, we rewatched. I think it was Channel 4 or ITVX, whatever. They put together like a show of it, and they had like all YouTube stars that covered it. They're talking about it. We loved it. That because Rebecca, I don't know, she just was well into that, and I got to admit I enjoyed it a lot as well. Just that trial was just mental.
A mega pint.
A mega pint. I still use that expression to this day. A bloody mega pint. Well, geez Louise, there we go. A mega pint indeed. So, you know what? Talking about car crashes, my hair's all over the place. Talking about car crashes, it's kind of relevant. This is a segue and a half.
Okay.
Car crash, Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. Strickland's fighting this weekend. Dricus Du Plessis, right?
Car crash.
Well, no, let me get there. I'm building. Strickland saying that if Dricus Du Plessis mentions his dad again, that he will stab him. Okay? He said he will stab him. But Strickland came out, and I hate to bring this up, but it's true. When that young girl died in a car crash, he made light of that. He made fun of that. And that was a young, innocent girl. And he said she wasn't very good. She wasn't even, he said, I did some digging. I looked at the record. She wasn't even very good. I didn't like that at the time. The point I'm making is that Strickland, listen, he's controversial. He says this and that and all the rest of it. And we've talked about this quite a bit. You know, if that's how you're going to be, and this is exactly what Dricus said. He said, so he talks shit about everyone. As soon as he gets a taste of his own medicine, this is quoting Dricus Du Plessis, as soon as he got a taste of his own medicine, he went straight into the victim mode. And now he's saying, and Strickland said on his own podcast, it's on Twitter, that if he brings it up one more time at the weigh-ins, at the press conference, he doesn't care. He's going to stab him.
Yeah, I get that.
He talked to Dricus after that. And I was like, Dricus, I mean, because I like the guy. Me and him are going to have a fucking war. We're going to have a fucking death match. Like, there's no other way that ends. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out.
He's going to kiss you.
He might try to grab my but, at the end of the day.
That's his coach.
Worst things could happen, right?
Yeah.
So I actually sent him a message, and I was like, dude, listen, Dricus, we're going to go try to murder each other. But if you bring that shit up again, I will stab you.
Yeah,
press conference, weigh in. You bring I just told Dricus. Like,
you know he's gonna bring it up.
No, he was cool about it. I'm just saying.
Go on. You were gonna say.
I'm gonna get a bunch of shit for this, but I get it, and I kind of agree. And I'm not saying that I agree with everything that Sean has done in the past, but I think that there's levels to everything. I think there's levels to everything. I think if you're Ian Gary, you probably have a little bit more of a, I guess, of a standing to say something to Sean. But I mean, listen, this is going to turn into me talking shit about Ian Gary. But like, if your wife puts out a book that is titled that and is about that, then you two kind of open yourself up for that. Like, there's a chance that that's going to come out. Do I agree with it? No, because I don't really mess with the family. I don't talk about people's wives. I don't talk about people's kids. That's not my thing. But I can see where Sean could think that that's open game, that's fair, because it's kind of out there. You write a book, you made money off of it. Like, you kind of open yourself up for that a little bit. Even with the O'Malley thing. O'Malley's talked about his open relationship with his wife. He's talked about their kind of relationship there, the way that that's a little bit different. When he talks about it, you kind of open yourself up for that a little bit. I think talking, and maybe this is because I have a lot of it on my own, talking about someone's trauma like that and the abuse that they suffered as a child.
Yeah.
I think we've gone past talking about your wife who put herself in the public eye by writing a book about the things that she wrote about and then marrying a young athlete.
I disagree completely, because they're going to fight each other. They're going to fight, and then you can settle it the old-fashioned way.
I'm fine with him I'm fine with him talking about it, as long as he is okay with the things that come back his way.
Well,
if
exactly.
someone was to talk about, like, I've made it very clear, you talk about my wife and you talk about my kids, we will never fight. I will show up on your doorstep. I will kick down your door in the middle of the night, and I'll do my 10 years, and I'll be fine with it.
And that's fair enough.
At least everyone knows that. And I think that's what Sean is saying. Like, here's what you can talk about all you want, but if you go here, this is what I'll do. And I don't think he's lying.
But at this stage here, right? Let's remember Saturday, UFC 297, Toronto, talking of cold, minus 10 degrees Celsius. Some of those fighters are going to get the shock of their life when they step outside. It's a cold one, baby. It's already scheduled. They're going to fight. So I wouldn't say, I'm going to stab you. I would say, oh yeah, you want to bring that up? You want to play that game? Bro, I am going to beat the living shit out of you Saturday night. You say that one more time, I'm already going to beat you. I already plan on defending the belt. But if you go there, I am going to punish you, brother. For 5 rounds, I am going to put the worst beating ever that you could ever imagine. I'm not going to knock you out. I'm going to have you almost on the verge of unconsciousness, and then I'm going to let you come round, and I'm going to almost knock you out again. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Don't say I'm going to stab you.
I think he would.
Well, he'll go to prison for a very long time.
To some people out there, some things that you bring up are painful enough that it's worth it.
Sure, I understand that, but I see what Dricus is saying, though. Sean does feel the need. And by the way, I enjoy the character. I know Sean. I'm just saying, I see both sides. Sean comments on a lot of controversial shit and doesn't give a like that young girl that passed away. I thought that was disgusting. No. I thought that was disgusting. Right?
Agreed.
There's a young girl passed away, and he's going to come out and speak lightly. Dana tried to do a nice thing because she said she wrote it in a diary. I want Dana to know my name. I said, oh, look at you guys. You're all just trying to get clout on social media. You're doing this for likes, while I was doing it on an Instagram post for likes. Right? But then a guy that's going to fight you, that's going to step into an octagon with you, can mention something personal, right? And then all of a sudden that's off limits, and mention it again and I'll stab you. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, no, dude, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm really not.
No, I know.
I think that in these kind of situations, I'm a little bit biased because I think I understand. Like, I feel like I understand how he's looking at it. Well, like, well, your wife did that and it's out there, so that's fair game. Or you talked about this and it's fair game. But like,
yeah, but he's talked about his childhood trauma as well. He's been very open about that. So if you talk about it and you make it public, because otherwise, maybe that's fair game. We wouldn't know about it. He's talked about it. He's been very open. And when you do that, you make yourself a target to trolls online or to future opponents. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong because I understand what you're saying there. But by the same standard of what you're saying, if Ian Gary and his wife or whatever the million other things were, they were already out there as potential targets. Well, he's kind of made himself a potential target by talking about those things. Now, I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's right or justified, but I'm like, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
You got to kind of deal with it. And had he never said anything about anybody else, then we'd be defending him right now.
And if he had never said anything about anyone else, he'd be a boring.
You know what I mean? Fair. I think I just get it. I think because I've felt the same way before. So like, like this fighting thing. This is work. Like sometimes you just say, like, I don't know. Sometimes you take, you gotta do more than just go to work. And that's how you feel.
When I fought Jorge Rivera, I felt that he overstepped the mark many, many times, and call it trash talk, psychological warfare, whatever, trying to throw me off my game. Guess what? It's worked. It's worked because I was so mad, and I've said it before in here, but I'll say it again. I was like, if I see this guy, we were in Sydney, Australia. I'm like, if I see him, I'm probably going to attack him. And when I went into that octagon, I wasn't there for a fight. I was there to beat the shit out of you. I wasn't there to compete in a martial arts contest.
Right. You didn't care about the win.
I was there to settle a score.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I did knee him in the head when he went down. But I'm like, you poked the bear, bro.
Yeah. We all get one warning.
yeah, exactly. I'm out of my mind of adrenaline. I didn't mean to foul him at that time, but I was so mad and I was in the red mist. The rules didn't apply to me at that moment in time. You know what I mean? Because that is the reality that you have to put up with or accept. If you're going to talk that amount of shit, if you're going to go there, if you're going to poke the bear, then that's also what you're going to deal with.
What? And maybe I did a bad job of explaining my point. Here's a better way of just clearing it up to end it. Like, I think that Sean has said the things that he said about other people, and you've heard him say this. If you want to come beat me up over this or what I said, then that's fine. Like, if you want to fight me because of it, we can do that too. But if you're Du Plessis, I think you need to have the same responsibility there, that if you say those things, then you need to be prepared for what's coming back your way. So that's why I don't have a problem with Sean saying that. Like, he gave a clear warning, and maybe he's just talking shit and he's exaggerating. You know what I mean? But like, of course, just say that he says something about him, and then Sean does stick one in his ribs. Like, that's fair. That's all good with me because he warned you first.
Oh, so hey.
And he separates your ribs, then you guys are even in my eyes.
Yeah. No. I from the code of the type of people that some guys are, MMA guys, these aren't computer programmers that we're talking about. They're not politicians.
I just think that's fair.
We're a certain type of person, and some are more wild than others. You got your George St. Pierre's and your Brad Katonas, and you've got your Sean Stricklands, and you know what I mean? There's a gauge. But Sean said, hey, Just so you know, as a man, you bring that up one more time. Now, I don't think he's going to stab him. I think he's just using that as a coin of phrase.
Yeah, I think it's just a figure.
He's not going to bring a knife to the press conference. He's not going to go find him in the hotel room. But what he's saying is, hey, just so you know. And yeah, I guess as a man, he's told him, he's warned him.
Shit's going to get out of hand.
If I'm Dricus, I'm going there again.
I probably would too.
If it's bothered him so much,
if I've already gone
again.
there once, there's no problem going back.
Keep going.
And I'm so happy I'm so happy I'm gonna be in Canada for it.
Oh, you're gonna be there? You working the desk?
Yeah, it's 30 degrees warmer there than it is here. I'm ready.
I was gonna say it's
heat wave.
Like tropical temperatures for
I'll be in a bro tank and some board shorts.
Guys, are you tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that just don't work? Well, I don't blame you. That's why our sponsor, Nugenix Total T, lets you try before you buy. You can get a complimentary sample when you text 231231 and enter the code word BELIEVE. Look, as you're getting older, the testosterone's dipping. You're starting to get a dad bod. You're not the man you used to be. You haven't got the same energy, and that's because you got to give yourself a boost when it comes to the testosterone. Okay, with Nugenics, you will feel revised, energized. You will be working out like you used to. You will be adding muscle again, and your old self will be back. Nugenix Total T Testosterone Booster with Testofen will help you turn back the clock and re-energize your life. But don't take their word for it. Try before you buy. If it works, keep it. If not, keep the sample. You have nothing to lose, but you could gain energy, muscle, drive, and more passion. Get your complimentary sample when you text 231231 and enter the code word BELIEVE. Nugenix Total T contains man-boosting key ingredients like testofen. It's been shown in clinical studies to boost free testosterone levels in men. It is an unprecedented formula with science-backed key ingredients to safely maximize your free testosterone levels, help you increase muscle mass, and skyrocket your performance. And don't be misled. Every product professes quality, but many use generic ingredients that are far less than clinical grade. Nugenix Total T gets you premium key ingredients at the same exact powerful clinical potency levels used in the trials. Nugenix is the #1 doctor recommended brand and the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at G&C and Walmart. So what are you waiting for? Get a complimentary bottle right now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, the fastest and most powerful fat incinerator ever. Okay, all you got to do is text 231231 and enter the key word BELIEVE. They're going to offer you a complimentary sample. If you don't like it, keep it. All you got to do, text 231231 and enter the keyword BELIEVE. So obviously you're going to be there working the desk Saturday night. You're not going to be on Thursday's show, so I do want to get your breakdown. Dricus versus Sean. Yeah. How do you see that going?
You know, I think it could be a really interesting fight. So far, what we've seen out of Sean Strickland in his last however many fights is he's really tough to deal with on his feet. He's outstruck Izzy, beat him at his own game. We've seen him in there over 5 rounds with Cannonier, who's one of the most devastating strikers out there in terms of power and explosiveness and speed and everything that Cannonier does so great. I really think that we need to see, if you want to be successful versus Strickland, you need to give him something else to worry about, because just punches and kicks isn't enough. I think he's too tricky on his feet to really get over on him. If you're Du Plessis, I think you got to mix it up. He was able to take down Robert Whittaker and control him and beat him there on the ground. That's kind of how I see Du Plessis getting this done. If he wins, he's gonna have to be a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's gonna have to wrestle. He's gonna have to clinch. He's gonna have to push him up against the fence, and he's got to move forward. You can't let Strickland walk you down. He's just too good there at what he does. His eyes are really good. He sees everything. His subtle movements. He doesn't move his head a whole shit ton, but that's
what Dricus does, though. He just goes forward.
Yeah, he's got to. He has to.
You know, he's 20 wins, 19 finishes, 6 in the UFC, 6 stoppages. If you look at the way,
imposing physically too.
Yeah, he's big for the division, and that's why I think getting Sean kind of in that red mist, if you will, is his best plan to a victory. Because I think if Dricus wins, it'll be a stoppage. I think if Sean wins, he'll win by decision. You know, I think if Sean is very technical and level-headed. He'll make it tough for Dricus. I think if Sean allows himself to get into a brawl, I think he's got a good chance of losing that against Dricus, because I think Dricus hits harder, as you said, more physically imposing. Mm-hmm. He will mix things up. He's not going to be afraid to take it to the ground. And if you look at that fight with Derek Brunson, was it the end of the second round? He was doing all right. Mm-hmm. Brunson. In fact, he won the first round. Halfway through the second round, Brunson was doing okay, but then he put on that much damage and beat him up that much within 2 minutes.
Same with Darren.
Darren Till grabbed him right at the start of round one, pinned him up against the fence and just punished him with his left hand over and over. Whitaker walked him down, swinging like a maniac. Every shot that he throws, he's swinging to knock you out. Right.
Tavares, remember the Tavares fight? When he was, the bell rang and he sprinted. It was a 7.5 minute sprint, and then he kind of gassed. But he even when he's tired, he just moves forward and throws hard, and it's just hard to deal with.
He fights. He fights. He's a proper warrior. It is an interesting fight. I do think Dricus is probably stronger and hits harder. Sean's probably more technical on the feet but the effectiveness of Dricus, he's not as technical to look at. That's a fact, but he's very, very effective. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about before the Whitaker fight, he had his nose repaired because he did used to gas a lot because he couldn't breathe through his nose. Apparently he got his nose repaired and now he's flying. He's a cardio master. He's got the lowest heart rate in the UFC. It's a joke. But I do think that is going to help the cardio issues.
Well, I think it's an approach thing too, though. If you look at the Tavares fight, you look at the Till fight, and you look at the Brunson fight, he's so high output. And now now he's a little more methodical. He's a little more thoughtful. Maybe it's a little more calculated chaos. But if you look at his numbers, his output is insane. I think he has the highest output in the entire UFC. If I remember right, I had an ESPN meeting today, and one of the stats people said that he's got the highest strike percentages, landed strikes per minute, than anybody in the UFC. But those numbers are falling off recently in his last two fights. His output's a little bit lower, which just tells me, I think when he came into the UFC, if you're a guy like Dricus and you were on the regional scene, you can do that and just go, and you'll get everybody out of there. But you make it to the UFC, you have to adjust that a little bit because people are as good as you are. They're going to be able to handle it. They're going to be able to kind of weather the storm, which is what he ran into with Tavares and Brunson and Till. They were there afterwards. And as people get better, you have to change your approach a little bit. And I think that's why he's come down just a little bit on his output.
Yeah, and then also you learn to handle those big moments, because when you step in there, it's the UFC. This is where you dream of being. There's 20,000 people. You're in the UFC Octagon. Bruce Buffer introduces you. You walk out in that crowd. You're like, whoa, we're here. We've made it. The adrenaline is crazy. And so you can't control that as well. The more experience you get, the more you get used to that kind of feel. And you do learn to control your emotions and control your tempo and your output. And as you said, on the regional scene, when I was younger, I was like, I would just go at people because I knew eventually I was going to get them and they were going to wear them down and they were going to get tired and they were going to go to sleep. Right. I didn't really give a f. But then all of a sudden you get to the UFC, you're like, hold on a minute. I'm fighting the version of me from Alabama or Japan or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's ultimately what the UFC is. It's a worldwide sport. And people like us, you, alpha males, there's other versions of us throughout the world. And you're bumping into another one of you.
Right.
You know
we stand out amongst our region.
Yeah.
So you fight and you're the best one around. And then they pluck you out. And then they're like, oh, wait, hold on. There's another one over there. Go get that one too. And let's
even
make
the Korean version. The Korean the Bisping.
Bispings. And I think I misspoke. His output is the highest in the division, not the UFC. I misspoke, but it's the highest in the division.
He's beating these flyweights. My God. 17,000 strikes a minute. So ultimately, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Anthony. What is your prediction for the Lionheart Smith Incorporated? What is the prediction? Who wins? Who is the champion of the world when the dust settles on Saturday night?
No, don't hold me to it because I do have to make these picks over the weekend as well.
And you will be changing them. You will be looking at the research, the data, seeing what presents itself. You'll be looking at the emotions at the press conference, looking into the eyes and figuring things out. So subject to change. But right now, as we stand on a Monday, who are you picking?
I'm picking Strickland. I think Strickland.
All right. Okay.
Because I think he sells wolf tickets to us sometimes too. I think sometimes I don't think he'll go out there and be reckless. I've never seen him fight emotional, ever. So
No, you're right. He doesn't. He doesn't, and that is a good ability. And to talk about myself, I still am. I'm always trying to work on my emotional maturity. You know what I mean? But when I was in a fight, I was always locked in. I never allowed myself to necessarily get into these crazy scenarios other than the one I spoke about before with Jorge Rivera before you will call me a bloody hypocrite. Let's throw it to the panel because I think Dricus gets it done. I do. I think he gets the stoppage. And I don't know, maybe it's recency bias. Maybe it's the physicality. Maybe it's seeing him drop Robert Whittaker with the jab. I've got Dricus in that, but Harrington and Bryant, as I say, we're throwing it to the panel.
Well, he's a big, strong dude, and we've seen Sean get knocked out before, so I think we're more likely to see that than. But who knows, man? I didn't expect Sean to knock out or to put Izzy on his ass. So, but I would lean towards Dricus for sure.
I don't know. I mean, ever since the Darren Till fight, I've found it very, very hard to pick against Dricus Du Plessis. I mean, this is a guy who, I watched him get dominated for a full round, need to come out and win that third round, and he made, there was absolutely no doubt about it. Because it's a 5-round fight, I just don't think you can shut this guy out for 5 rounds, right? And I think it really only takes a minute or two for him to change the tide of a big fight. So I don't know how exactly, but I think somewhere over the course of 25 minutes, Dricus gets it done.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great fight week. It's going to be a cold fight week up there in Toronto. You ever fight in Canada, Anthony?
Oh yeah. Yep. I fought in
Winnipeg?
No, it was a really small town. Moncton. Yeah.
Good old Moncton.
It was fun.
Yeah. I've never been to Moncton.
They have a river. I think I've talked about this before. They call it the Chocolate River. It looks like flowing chocolate, but twice a day, every 12 hours, they have a wave that comes down the river and people surf it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was weird.
River surfing. Okay. Right. Well, the Torontonians, they're a good set of fans. I told this story last week. I don't think it'll do the rounds. I was on TNT Sports. We did a preview show. I don't think they're going to show this bit. When I fought Brian Stan, afterwards, we went to a club. After, we were all the boys. And we were just outside. The club was parked and we're outside and we had a table and stuff like that. And we were just waiting, like the hostess or whatever sorts you out. And there's some guy and he's involved in a big commotion. And he's screaming and he's hammered. He's wild drunk, right? And he's screaming. He's making being a pain in the ass. And he's screaming out, "I'm the Bieb's dad. I'm the Biebs." And it was Justin Bieber's dad, apparently, allegedly. Justin Bieber's dad. And he was screaming, "You don't touch me like that. I'm the Bieb's dad." And then this bloke, some Canadian dude, was just like, "I've had enough of this." Boom. And just nailed him. So the Bieb's dad got dropped, allegedly.
No kidding.
Justin Bieber, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, and your father was assaulted that night, I don't know the guy. He was a friend of a friend. I don't know the guy. Canada, back in action. Harrington, give us the lowdown of what's going on with Javier Mendez. He's dropping serious hints.
Yeah, so Javier Mendez was on a podcast recently, and this made waves pretty big over the weekend. He said, speaking about Khabib, he said he's always training, but he's never trained with me. You understand? Sure, he's been training, but he's never trained with me. Only when he fights, he trains with me. That I can tell you. Whether he fights or not, I don't know, but he's training with me, so you can take that for what it's worth.
So basically, he's saying, without saying, that Khabib's fighting.
I think that's what he's getting at.
That's what he's trying to do, or do you think he's just having a bit of fun? Brian, what is your take on this, please, sir?
What a clickbaiting bastard. Khabib made a solemn vow in front of God and his mother that he won't fight without his father. Why are we going to take this dude's word for it that he's going to break that?
But he never trains. He only trains with Javier.
Get the fuck
when he's
out of
training
here.
for a fight, okay? And now he's training with Javier. So, he's not saying that he's training him for a fight, but he only trains with Javier when he's training for a fight, and he is training with Javier.
The problem with doing something like this for clickbait is the next time no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't think so. I'm kind of with Brian. I believed Khabib when he said that he quit fighting for the reason he quit fighting for. I don't know that he stopped coaching fighters. He stopped even cornering. I think he still
coaches. He just doesn't travel.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Like, he's not cornering people anymore. Like, he's doing the complete opposite of getting back into fighting. He's pulling himself further out of it. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it. He's a rich man. He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of fame, especially in his home country. He's got plenty on his plate in terms of training with people. I just don't see it. I believed him when, like Brian said, he made a promise in front of God and his mom that he wouldn't do it without his dad.
Yeah, well, he certainly seems like the type of guy to uphold that kind of promise. And I think there was that video going around recently. Dana did an interview or something. Sorry, Khabib did an interview, and he said that Dana asked him what was the number, and he said the number doesn't exist. So I would find it kind of hard for him to go back on that. But hey, listen, people change their mind. Stuff changes all the time. You never know.
No one's immune to money.
And no one's immune. It's a very powerful motivator.
I mean, you pull Khabib's mom into that meeting and start negotiating with her too. I don't know. I think
you
it might
never
be
know.
different.
It's like, how much
doubtful.
you can do with this
It's
money?
doubtful, but I just don't see it.
Every man and their dog, they're all, these websites and Twitter accounts, they're all trying to predict what the main event for UFC 300 is. And I saw one recently, they're saying it's going to be Leon versus Khabib, and maybe Javier is just leaning into that and having a bit of fun. Leon versus Khabib? How would you feel about that? Theoretically, hypothetically.
Well, I don't want to ruin it, but I don't see the UFC doing that. only because Khabib's not going to stick around, even if he came back for one. You can't put a belt on him and then knowing he's not coming back.
What kind of asshole does that?
What kind of dick would just take a belt and never come back again? I mean,
George St. Pierre.
That's never happened ever.
George St. Pierre, the prig.
I know.
What kind of loser you got to be to lose to someone like that as well? Not to mention also, Bilal Muhammad is currently in Dagestan, by all accounts, training for Leon Edwards.
Do you think that's the main event, though?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm saying if you were in the driver's seat, would that be your main event?
I don't know. I mean, probably not. But it's a UFC title fight. You never know. Maybe they're going to put 3 title fights on there. Maybe that is going to be on the card. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, Leon's great. Bilal. I don't know. I mean, the event.
Although he's amazing, he's not a huge draw yet.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. But Khabib is not probably coming back, is what I would say.
Dude, you ready?
Got a weird look on his face.
Dude, so this is the nonsense, right? So Javier Mendez came out with a quote earlier today that said, "I'm just letting you guys know that, stop all this nonsense on the internet regarding Khabib and me and him training. There's been no such thing happening. We're not discussing training. We never have. Khabib is still voted to what he said. He's devoted to his family. He's not working people's corners. He's not going to fight ever. To my knowledge, he's never even spoken about it." So,
okay.
He threw this out there and then retracted it within 4 days.
All right. So maybe that means that Khabib is fighting and he's breaking news. That he's like, he's like, "What are you doing, dickhead?
Yeah,
don't talk about
it. What is wrong with you?"
You never know. All right, Harrington, tell me about this. A study claims that those with a bitter flavor profile are more likely to be afflicted by psychopathy, narcissism, aggression, and sadism.
Yeah, so they did a study.
I just want. What do you mean with a bitter profile, though? But
What
continue.
does that mean?
So a bitter profile, in this study, they set up people, and it was like, what do you favor, right? Black coffee, coffee with cream and sugar, coffee with just cream, et cetera, right? And they went through to see what taste profile aligns with, what kind of psychological things. And they said the biggest correlation they found was people who prefer very dark chocolate, black coffee, stuff in that kind of bitter profile to have more psychopathic, sadistic, and aggressive tendencies.
Michael, how do you drink your coffee?
Okay, let me tell you this. I have it black these days because I'm trying to decrease the calories.
And I know that you like dark chocolate.
I don't like dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate. The milkier, the better. I want cream in my coffee. I love cream. I went to Mastro's last night. I got a butter cake, a massive side of cream. I want the creaminess, okay? But I do drink black coffee, and I don't mind it these days. What about you?
No, I drink coffee like a middle-aged white woman that's a stay-at-home mom. The more pumpkin spice, the better.
The other big one.
Latte.
The other big one, gin and tonic.
Never.
Yeah, but the tonic's pretty bitter. You a tonic guy, Michael?
I am these days. I'm all about it. I love a vodka tonic. So that's it. According to who is it?
I'm a big vodka ginger beer guy.
Same thing.
No, what's different?
What's an absolute load of twaddle, Harrington? Just come back on. I mean, who said that? Who came up with this? A study claims.
They said.
Study claims that Harrington's a dick. Okay.
So it is.
We just ran that study right here, Mike.
We just discovered it.
So it's researchers from the University of Innsbruck in Austria, and they were doing a taste preference of 953 Americans, and what they're calling a groundbreaking study.
Yeah, it's not groundbreaking at all. I will groundbreak your face. How do you like your coffee, Harrington?
Oh, no, tons of cream. Tons and tons of cream. Milky as hell.
So hold on. What we're saying is here, and this is true to the comment section, the only one that likes the coffee black, I prefer it, but I take it black for the calories, is me. The only one that likes the gin and tonic is me. What else is there? Dark chocolate. I don't eat dark chocolate.
But would you?
I don't know. No. So Ellie, she's always got dark chocolate in the house, and it pisses me off.
How she drink her coffee?
Black. She's a narcissistic sadist.
I'm getting worried for you.
Oh my God, she's gonna murder me in the night. And Ellie, she's on this whole crazy health kick. She eats raw liver, hearts. Yeah, hearts and stuff. Yeah, the other day she had heart, liver, this and that. That's all she eats.
She should go be a chef.
And she has.
It's supposed to be really good for you. Like organ meat.
Yeah, she's on this crazy health kick. Well, no, she's not on a health kick. It's just who she is these days. Just organ meats, no makeup whatsoever. Hardly ever wears makeup. She went down to Mexico, didn't wear, what do you call it? Sunscreen.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the chemicals. Came back burnt to a crisp. I'm like, you might want to put sunscreen on, girl.
Yeah, you might want to do sunscreen.
Yeah. Anyway,
so this is worth noting. It said it did highlight in the study that some people will avoid eating desired foods because they are expensive or fattening, while consuming other foods to be social or healthy. So I think you get a pass on the black coffee.
Yeah, I think we all get a pass because that's just absolute bullshit. Give us another non-MMA. What was that other one you had, Harrington, about the Buffalo Bills? Or the Oscar Mayer Company is offering $35,000.
Hell yeah.
Per year, plus travel and per diem to drive their iconic Wienermobile across the country. What is a Wienermobile, and why am I even asking that question?
You don't know what the Wienermobile is?
No.
Oh, Harrington, you go ahead and educate.
It's as American as baseball or apple pie. It is a giant car shaped like a hot dog that drives around town. It goes cross country. People see this and they're like, man, I want an Oscar Mayer wiener right now.
35 grand a year to drive across the country.
Hell
35 grand.
No, man. I'd need to at least double that.
Why? To just drive that shit around? They pay for all your travel, your expenses, your hotels, just to drive it?
$150 a week. I don't know if that feeds me.
How much?
No, Why would it be $150 a week just to drive across the country? How long would that take?
That's the weekly. You get a weekly allowance of $150 for meals and personal travel and health benefits, and 18 days of paid time off.
It is $35,000 per year to be a driver. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I was going to say, I would do that across country one time, 35 grand. We'll make a little YouTube series out of it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll do that. Do you know what I mean? 3-4 days, well, however long it takes, but not as an actual job.
You have to visit 40 cities.
If you're 20, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, I would have done that easily in my early 20s. Because the cool thing is you have to stop and do like pop-up events. So you have all the gear in your back and you go to the city and it's like, all right, you park the Wienermobile, you set up a little stand and you make social media content. But I mean, think about it. That's an extra over $5,000 a year in per diem, plus, hotels and all that. You're looking at clearing damn near 50-60 grand.
I'm in.
Callum has just finished college. He's looking for a job. Let's see if he picks up. Guarantee he won't. Right, but if he does, I'm going to say, Callum, we got you a job, 35 grand. All you're going to do is drive a Wienermobile. Guarantee he says no.
You get the pleasures of the open road.
More than likely, I guarantee he doesn't pick up. Anthony, do your kids pick up when you call?
Never.
No. He's not going to pick up. He never does. Oh, well. I tell you what, talking of razors and Wienermobiles.
Okay.
The razor, I saw something. I got to get one of these. Hold on, what was it? I saw it recently, and it's unbelievable. Oh, it's gone. His chat disappears because he's one of those guys, vanish mode. It's like the razor scooter. It's like a $400 car.
Yeah.
It's a go-kart, the razor cart. Have you seen those things?
No way.
Oh, look those up, Brian. They're unbelievable. This friend of mine's got a big backyard and his kids on it. It's just like a go-kart, like Mario Brothers, just scooting all over the place. 360s, bloody handbrake turns.
Sweet.
Yeah. And it's fast. Looks unbelievable. So I'm going to get one of them. That's Lucas's next Christmas present. Click on that link there, Brian. Let's have a look at that thing. $400. I kind of want one. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I would. Let's see this.
485. The Razor Crazy Car. There it is. Electric.
That it?
Yeah, that's it. We've lost Brian on the electric. Enhanced drift bar. Brody knob steering. Variable speed up to
go. 12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Man, hold on a second. Don't bring that down yet. Hold on.
Yeah, take the governor off. You can get that up to 23.
There we go. 24. Take a picture of that. I'm buying one of those.
Are you really?
Not that anyone's going to be able to use it around here for the next couple months because there's 9 feet of snow on the ground, but I'm getting one. They can use it in the garage for a little while.
Exactly. All right. So anyway, so at the weekend, going back to actual stuff we know what we're talking about, Israel Adesanya is going to be cage side by all the reports I've seen on social media. So what do you think that means? Do you think Izzy's coming back? Do you think Izzy's just trying to stay in the limelight? Do you think Izzy's going to be challenging the winner of Dricus and Sean Strickland? What's your guess on that?
Well, I definitely think he's trying to keep himself inserted in the division and keeping himself visible. It's a title fight in his division. I think that he probably feels like that's important for him to be there. I think if Du Plessis wins, I mean, there's a storyline already built in there.
If Strickland wins, there's a storyline there.
Right. It's just tough though. Like he's still coming off a loss. So, I mean, and it wasn't even, it was a bad enough loss where they didn't give him an immediate rematch. So I don't know. That maybe that's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to insert himself back in there. Maybe there's no clear contender right now for the middleweight title. And he's just trying to insert himself in there.
I said the other week, I don't really see Izzy getting an immediate title fight, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing ever.
No,
it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be that unexpected. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the UFC 300 main event, and it's kind of a quick turnaround. But what's that? January, February, March, 3 months almost.
Yeah, but we've already seen Du Plessis won't take a chance. Like he's very smart about it. Well, I mean that in a positive way. He had an
won't take a
opportunity
chance. He's going to get beat. He won't take a chance. He shouldn't be talking about his dad. He's going to get stabbed. He's getting one in the ribs. And the boring bastard won't take a chance.
He had an opportunity to fight Izzy the last time. And he didn't want to he didn't want to risk fighting when he wasn't 100%. I feel like in there with Strickland, no matter what, you're going to leave pretty banged up probably. So I don't know. If 3 months as a turnaround seems like a risky thing to do. As
a champion. Yeah.
He's a bit risk averse. Averse
to taking a risk. Once again, another insult. Dricus, I'm sorry.
I think that's smart. I think he's smart. He's smarter than I am.
No, he is. He's being calculated.
Yeah.
He's being mathematical.
I'd be like, hell yeah. I'll do it next week. Someone hold my leg on.
He's being strategic. He's being smart. You never know that we might just see it. I'll tell you what I did like though. This is not necessarily being smart, but it's being real. It's being proper to the game. Cheeto Vera fighting Sugar Sean O'Malley next month.
Yeah.
Very excited for that one. He says that as a real man, if he wins, he's going to ask for the rematch with Corey Sandhagen because he beat me. If I have to choose myself, I want to kick Corey's ass. I know his dorky ass is crying about it, but it's not my fault. Nobody gives a fuck about it. Number one, Corey Sandhagen was injured, right? I believe.
Yeah, he was.
But I respect Cheeto because Corey did beat him. We know he beat him very soundly. You could call it an off night. You could say that Corey was just by far the better man on the evening than he was. But to immediately go, right, I want to fight Corey Sandhagen. I respect that. No one wants to fight
Corey once.
No.
Corey twice.
No. What do you think about that fight, Sean and Cheeto?
I like that fight for Cheeto. I think that he's got a great skill set to beat a guy like Sean. I think that, the wrestling approach that Sandhagen took is kind of what you're going to have to be able to do to beat a guy like Cheeto. You got to be able to mix it up. And even as good of a wrestler as Dominic Cruz is, he had a really tough time with Cheeto because of his power and his strength. And Sandhagen, I think he caught him on an off night. I think he caught him by surprise. I don't think he expected Sandhagen to wrestle like that. But O'Malley doesn't have that ability. That's not his game. That's not his style. So I same as their last fight, I still kind of favor Cheeto just because, and that's just a stylistic thing. I think O'Malley's magical, but Cheeto's a big, strong, powerful guy. And I know it's weird to say at bantamweight that he's a big, strong, powerful guy, but compared to everyone else in the division, he is. So I don't know. I do favor Cheeto a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, historically, he's the only man to beat him. Don't get into this whole peroneal nerve and the calf kick thing. He threw the calf kick. O'Malley went down. He got finished with elbows. But every fight's different. Every fight is different. And I will say this. O'Malley has definitely improved since that fight, and he looks good. I mean, that knockout against Aljamain Sterling, absolutely stunning. It's a bloody good fight, and I can't wait for it. Did you see O'Malley already calling out Ilia Topuria?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Who does that?
No,
no, that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Topuria, I could see an upset of the year coming.
With Topuria and Volkanovski?
I could see it.
Oh, hot take.
I'm not calling it, but I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised.
Topuria is good, man. And I'll tell you what, for any time to fight Volkanovski, now is a good time. Coming off the back of a knockout. Because when you're going on these kind of win streaks, I know Volkanovski's got a loss before, but you know this. When you're flying and you're beating everybody, you're like, I'm invincible. I can't be beaten. But then when you get knocked out like he did against Islam, there's a little crack. There's a little chink in the armor. A little bit of reality sets in that, oh, damn, I am human. I can get knocked out. There is consequences to taking these kind of shots.
Yeah. And watching Topuria live, like in person up close, was a treat. The nuances and the subtleties and the little things that he does, you can only see and really capture and grasp the way that he controls the octagon, the pace, the momentum, the power in his hands, the durability in his chin, because he took some big shots off of Josh Emmett. He took some massive shots from Josh Emmett and didn't even blink. So I think he's the future of the division. I don't know that his reign will start this year, but I would not be shocked to see him leave the champion of the world. I would not be shocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's undefeated. The way he beat Bryce Mitchell, the way that he beat, he is very, very good. It's a great fight. Can't wait for it. Another guy in your division, Anthony, Yuri Prochazka, who last went up against Alex Pereira. He was speaking today and he said that he went into the Pereira fight with a really bad staph infection. Did you see that?
I didn't see the interview. No, I didn't.
Harrington, have you got any more details for us? Because I know you put that in the group chat before, and I was working out, I was lifting weights, I was stretching, I was ice bathing, I was saunaing. I don't have time to sit around and watch tittle tattle. Harrington, I'm filling a lot of time for the boy to be full.
Sorry. I don't believe I sent that to you because I'm looking for that story right now.
It's not in the notes, but I think we communicated via text, brother. But it is all over Twitter. Just look it up. Yuri Prochazka says that he had a terrible staph infection.
So it's revealed he was
suffering that, Anthony. That's what I want to know. Ultimately, what do you think?
From the last 5 weeks of preparation, I trained just 1 week. Yeah. So
wow.
So
why is that? That's because of your shoulder?
No, but because the staph.
Staph infection.
What's the staph? Yeah.
Let's leave it there, Brian. We don't want to get demonetized for showing the Helwani show. Said he only trained once in the last 5 weeks. What do you make of that?
Yeah, who knows? I don't. Yeah, training. What would he say? Trained 1 week in the last 5 weeks? I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know that has anything to do with how you lost, though. Like you can train your chin all you want. Like you can train all you want or not train all you want. Your chin is what it is. And you put your head in a compromising position. That has nothing to do with your conditioning. I just don't. Yeah. I will give reasons if people ask questions and say, well, hey, no excuses. Here's where I was and here's what happened in my opinion. But like I've never just came out and gave an excuse. And I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you make of that fight with him and Alexander Rakic?
I think Rakic smokes him.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's coming off of a knockout loss. It's pretty fast. It's pretty quick turnaround for a tough knockout. Especially one that he wasn't allegedly able to train for that much. So like, seems quick. I'm excited to see Rakic back. I like that guy. We had our thing for a second, but we connected and I like him a lot. I think that he's going to insert himself into the top of the division and title conversations pretty quickly. Man, to be coming off of a knockout loss and do it with with the quickness, a pretty quick turnaround in there with a guy as big, strong, powerful, and it's dangerous as Rakic is. I don't know, but there's no telling. Rakic's been off a long time. Is there going to be some ring rust? Is it going to be a little bit tentative? Is it going to have, is there any regression that's happened? How much has he been training? I think there's some questions that need to be answered, but if he comes back anywhere close to where he was before, it's going to be a tough night for Yuri.
Rakic
hates him.
Oh, does he really? Because Rakic is coming on the show Thursday, right? Yeah. So
ask him about his beefs with Yuri and who Yuri really is as a person, because Rakic.
Oh, really?
He'll tell you that he doesn't believe his whole. He'll tell you he doesn't believe his whole samurai kick and all his bullshit.
His whole martial artist thing.
He says it's all bullshit.
What does he say?
That he's a drunk guy in a pub.
No, but he has told. Yuri has told stories about where he used to drink, like I think it was gasoline out of a car or something like that. Oh, God. I forget the exact quote, but he spoke about some wild times we've had.
I think they have mutual, like they know mutual people, or 10 degrees of separation or whatever. Like geographically, I think they kind of know some of the same people, or at least have been at the same haunts. It's going to be a good interview.
Thursday afternoon, we're getting into all of this. So stay tuned and come back.
It's the only time you can get Rakic like real aggravated. Like you can.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
He's a really nice guy, but you start talking, you get him all fired up about Yuri. You can see the aggravation in his face.
Oh, I can't wait. I've got the questions lined up already.
Yeah,
here we go.
I had him fired up.
All right, 2024, new year, new me, new bod with Fitbod, which is the smart workout app which creates custom, dynamic, individualized workout programs for you. What excuses have you got? I haven't got time. Well, that doesn't apply. I haven't got the equipment. That doesn't apply now either. I can't afford it. That certainly doesn't apply when it comes to Fitbod, because Fitbod costs you less than one session with a personal trainer, and you get a full year of workouts. You get it customed for your needs, whether you want to lose weight, you want to build muscle, you want to get faster, you want to get flexible, whatever it is all on there. The Fitbod works with iOS and Android devices. The app is super easy to use. It has video tutorials, so it makes learning new exercises very, very simple. Okay, so what more are you waiting for? Well, check this out. Right now, you can get 25% off, or you can try the app out for free when you sign up at fitbod.me/believe. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever equipment that you have, Fitbod will give you a workout. If you don't know how to do the exercises, they will give you a video demonstration. And as I say, right now, you can try the app out for free when you sign up to fitbod.me/believe. Get the results that you wanted, get the inspiration, get the workouts that you need when you go to fitbod.me/believe. 25% off your subscription, or try it out for free. Fitbod.me/believe. Harrington, we're going to go to some questions in a second, but before we do, is there any breaking stories that we haven't got to, please?
Nothing.
Anything going on in the women's atomweight division in Invicta?
Yeah, it's got to, yeah, exactly. I'm going to do it myself. MMA news. Johnny Walker reacts to Magomed Ankalaev loss. We don't need that. Conor McGregor, Irish MMA star, donates 25 grand.
That's a good. Does anyone know anything about that?
Did you see that?
What happened? I just seen the injuries, but it didn't say what had happened to him.
So I saw it on. Is it Leah McCourt, Bellator fighter? Follow her on Instagram. So some Irish fighter. Let me bring up his name. Calling him an Irish fighter. That's a bit different. Ryan Curtis. So he was training. And it says here he's sustained a broken back, a broken neck, a dislocated spine. Ryan will never be able to do what he loves again, train or fight, a sport he's dedicated his life to since 11. Ryan has the most infectious, positive outlook on life and has been through some of the most horrific circumstances. Man, still showing a positive outlook. Does anyone know any more details on how he did this? So it was a training accident. Correct?
Yeah, that's all I've heard. And I seen Conor put out like a message
GoFundMe link
and a GoFundMe. So which I thought was pretty cool. Which I don't think Conor gets enough credit for. I don't want to spin this thing to be about Conor, but from what I understand, he does do a lot of charitable work, a lot of donations for things like this. He's building housing for like single mothers or something like that, like a shit ton of houses. So anyways, I think that's cool that he did kind of bring awareness, because I wouldn't have known about it had Conor not brought it up. And I think he donated a pretty good chunk of money himself to that
25 grand. No, absolutely fair play. Well done to him. Well done to him indeed. What an awful situation, because this is the thing. MMA, people don't realize, but it's not just MMA, it's wrestlers, boxers, life itself. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can cross the goddamn street. Who was I talking to the other day? And they were talking about something. I said, well, that could happen. He said, you don't do that because this could happen. I said, well, yeah, you're right. But that could happen crossing the street. You could die. You could get hit by a car. You know what I mean? Yes, of course, there is dangers associated with combat sports, just like American football. You know what I mean? And it's just really an unfortunate, bad set of circumstances. Luck,
it's too bad. Yeah, it's too bad. Is. Especially being so young. It's just fuck. Not that being old it would be any better, but you know what I mean. Just chasing your dream at practice one day. I mean, can't feel both legs and one arm. It's crazy.
That really brought the mood down. Khamzat Chimaev takes aim at Dricus Du Plessis before title fight. Oh, you didn't get this one, did you, Harrington? Boris questions how focused Du Plessis and Sean Strickland both are. What is the quote? He says, they have a fight soon. They both think about me. I didn't know that I was scaring them that much. I want to hear your take on this. We spoke about this last week. Dricus says that if he wins, a fight with Khamzat Chimaev is not next. I did a little YouTube video on that. He said he's a welterweight. He hasn't proved himself at 185. I kind of disagreed with that on the YouTube video that I did. I got slaughtered in the comments. Everyone was like, no. He is only a welterweight. He hasn't proved himself at 185. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you disagreed with Du Plessis?
I did, yeah. I disagreed.
I mean, I get where he's coming from. I mean, he's only fought some earlier guys at 185, I suppose, like Gerald Mearshart and one other guy. And then he did fight a welterweight at 185. So,
he did. But they weighed in at 185. Robert Whittaker used to be a welterweight. Sean Strickland himself used to be a welterweight. Do you know what I mean? Dricus has fought at welterweight himself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is just the climate, the circumstances that we're in.
Yeah, it's just the world we're in.
Being a fucking company man, you dickheads.
Well, that's nothing to do with, they fought at 185, but like, I think what he's saying is he hasn't beat one of the top guys at 185. I don't think anyone's doubting that he could, though. And I think those two things are different. Has he beaten one of the top guys at 185 in the top 5? No. Does he have the ability to? Absolutely. Absolutely.
But who else would it be, though? Let's just assume that Strickland wins. Yeah. And for the sake of conversation, let's assume it's not Israel Adesanya, right? Yeah. Because obviously he's there. He's going to be there as well. But Strickland, is it Du Plessis? Robert Whittaker, Du Plessis just finished.
Yeah, he's coming off.
The only person realistically with another claim is Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier sitting at number 4
with a win over Strickland.
With a win over Strickland. Yeah, that's the only other guy. I mean, Marvin Vettori, as much as I like Marvin, he's not there. Paulo Costa, he's, if he wins his next fight, maybe he'll be there. He's already booked up, is what I'm saying. Then it's Roman Dolidze, Brendan Allen. Those guys aren't there. When you look at it like that, other than Izzy, who knows what's going to happen Saturday night. Other than that, it's Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree.
Or a Jared Cannonier.
Right. I would probably lean Cannonier if you're looking at, because I'd like to see Izzy versus Khamzat.
Oh, me too. I'd love to see that.
That's what I'd like to see. And then there's not an argument for either. No matter who wins, they're next for the title, and you can't argue that.
Oh, you're going to like this one. I'm just looking here.
Okay.
Yahoo Sports, UFC 297, Embedded, Episode 1. Sean Strickland gifted a custom gold firearm. You got to Google this. Look at that. Oh, my God. That thing, Brian, just Google it, because you got to get the image of that in the chat or on the screen. It's I don't know what kind of gun that is. It looks like a machine gun, is what my uneducated brain will say. It's gold.
But who gave it to him?
I'll tell you who right now.
Okay. Tell me who.
In the main event, middleweight champion. Well, first episode champion Sean Strickland sits down with Max Crosby. I was in the building when that happened.
Max Crosby.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So Max Crosby, give it to him.
Max Crosby, he plays for the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave him a gun. What kind of gun is that? Just bring it back on screen. I want to hear you guys break it down. What are we talking? AK-47? No, it's not. I know it's not. Uzi 9mm. What movie? What movie, Anthony? Uzi 9mm.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Damn it. What is it?
Come on. Harrington O'Brien. Uzi 9mm. That's a bad impression. Terminator 2.
It looks like it's an AR frame. It looks like it's an AR frame.
AR-15.
Probably AR-15. Could be an AR-10. AR frame no matter what. But yeah, some sort of AR. Probably AR-15.
What do you think that's worth? A gun like that, if it is solid gold? What do you think that's worth?
If it was solid, it's probably not. It's probably just gold-plated.
Gold-plated?
Yeah, you couldn't fire a gun that's made out of gold too much. It would melt.
Yeah, it's too solid.
I know nothing about guns. So gold-plated.
You know a lot about gold, though, and you can't really get it too hot.
All right, so I'm trying to make a dick out of me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, it's just
you're trying to make a dick out of me.
I am not.
Who's the 9mm?
If it was though, a lot.
But yeah, gold plated though. What are we saying?
I don't even know the price of gold. I couldn't even tell you. Probably.
I believe the price of gold is around $2,300 per ounce.
Oh Jesus!
Pretty
Really
close. 2,054 today.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Huh.
I was going to take a guess. I was going to say it's probably a $30,000 or $40,000 gun if it was
nice,
solid gold.
How about that? And on your gun wall, on your gun rack, that's going to look bloody good.
Cool. Yeah. Even if it's gold plated, that's still probably a $10,000 or $12,000 rifle. It's pretty.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely gold plated. Now you bring out those obvious points and make an absolute fool out of me.
No, I'm just saying. Either way, that's still pretty expensive.
Yeah, no, it's still a great gift as well. So well done, Sean Strickland. Can't wait for those guys this weekend. And if you have a question, please send that in to bympod@gmail.com.
And if you're listening on Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode drops. And if you want to catch over 500 videos you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get a 7-day free trial and check out over 20 great shows on the network. Also, it was his manager that gifted him that gun.
Well, fair play to the manager. That's a nice little gift to get. And the manager's like, we're making that pay-per-view money, baby. Here's a little gold gun. That's nice, though. It's great.
All right, so the first question we have here today is from Abby from the Fight Space, and she's trying to take your job, Mike.
What's up, BYM Pod? It's me, Abby of the Fight Space podcast. I recently had English MMA sensation number 3 featherweight, Arnold Allen, on my show, and he fights this weekend. And one of the questions that I asked him was, do you see yourself moving into something like commentary or cage side, like a Michael Bisping?
I'd love to, but I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'll be very good at it.
But my question for you guys, for Michael and for Anthony, would be, how would someone get into a role like cage side or like commentary? Because that's what I want to do. And so what's my path? What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone wanting to do that? And fuck you, Harrington.
Well, first of all, I would start with not using such foul language and insulting hardworking members of this team, okay? What was the name of her podcast? Fight Queen.
It doesn't matter what the Fight
Space. Thank you for the question, Anthony. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Why me?
Because it's a dumb question and I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I was gonna let you do it because I don't know the answer.
You've just.
I hate to crash your dreams, but if you're not hosting, there's exactly 0 people on the desk that aren't hosts that have never done this.
Yeah.
There's exactly 0.
Same with commentators. Play-by-play or a fighter. Simple as that. The play-by-play guys aren't fighters because that's a real job with real skills and real.
They go to college.
They go to college for that. They learn
go to college. They go to college for that.
They're not like me and DC, just like, fighting and then talking about fighting. They got to know the insides and the outsides, So it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
You could do a Minty Betts. You could be a Charlie Arnold.
Right.
You could do a Megan Levy, backstage roaming reporter. So there's options. There's availabilities. There's
Nina Drama was in Playboy.
There you go.
There's a good shot.
So there's a route, but I people ask me all the time, like, how do I do that? I don't know. Spend the next 20 years of your life fighting. Find your way into the UFC. Stick around a while and don't sound like an idiot once you do it. Well, maybe
Laura Senko was saying, she might even said it on this show, where she was saying that she just went to events and she just wrote up she just wrote up the fights, and she worked for a blog for a long time, and then she started doing videos, and then there's a path. You just need to.
But she also fought first and trained for even longer.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I would say, Laura did the homework and took the long path. Yeah. Took the long path. There's no overnight. I wouldn't just show up to events. You're going to be wasting quite a lot of money if you think about the way to get a job. And I wish you all the best. And thank you for the question. But don't be buying floor tickets to every UFC event thinking that that's going to get you a gig, because you're just going to waste loads of money. You know what I mean? You'll see some great fights. You'll have the best seats in the house. You know, you might get a picture with Dana. And you never know. I'm getting that picture. Go to every event. I'm going back on myself. That's all it takes. One interaction, the right time.
And maybe try to call fights at your local regional MMA show.
That is the way.
Maybe that's where you start.
Contact your local MMA event. Say, listen, I'm really passionate about this. I know this sport inside.
Let's start doing interviews first. That's how Laura started.
I'll commentate for free.
Yeah.
I'll commentate for free. Prove your worth. Do interviews, reach out to fighters via social media, whatever. Try and get the lower level guys to come on your YouTube channel and stuff like that, and start building a little bit of a base. But if you want to do it, it's great to have a goal, and it's certainly not an unachievable goal, as long as you're not coming for my job.
Yeah, leave mine alone.
Leave mine alone.
Yep, leave mine alone. I didn't do anything to you.
Boy, the tone changed from the beginning to the end of that answer pretty hard. Okay, so this guy sent in the question twice, and then he sent in another email that said, don't play these videos. And I get it. But he sent in a very interesting question, which is, if he wanted to get a tattoo of Michael Bisping, what would you recommend that he gets?
Why did he say don't play the video?
I would imagine he's going to get shit from his friends, or I don't know. But
No.
Is there anything that would make us look bad?
Oh, no. It was like he was filleting you guys for 2 minutes at the beginning of the video. And then he was like,
I need it.
He asked me not to play the video. I'm just interested in your answer.
Send the video in. It's now our property. Okay? Anthony's been through some tough times himself lately.
Right, and he needs filleted.
He needs filleting.
And I don't know that I want to answer I don't know that I want to answer the question unless we can see the video.
Oh, I can't play. He asked me not to play the video. He sent in a third email in the morning and said, I don't play this video.
Is he our boss or is Bisping and Anthony?
Well, I like getting paid, right? And then I don't want to give this random stranger the money from this episode.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Brian's a man of the people.
He is.
He's made a gentleman's agreement with the stranger.
I think it's pretty legal at this point.
He sent the video in.
Yeah, but then he sent in a retraction and he said, please don't play that.
You little retracting son of a bitch. You
retracting son of a bitch.
And I just think it's a really silly question. And I was just going to, I
know. You'll notice I'm doing everything I can to side answering the question.
That's a good answer. Don't do that is a good answer.
Well, I can't say that because I do know some people that have very kindly, and I'm very honored to have a tattoo of my ugly face on various parts. But yeah,
I would love that if someone had my face tattooed on. That'd be awesome.
There's quite a few. I say quite a few. You can count them on two hands, but
quite a few.
I've met a good amount of people. And some of them are really good. Like my face against Anderson Silva covered in blood with a one eye bullshit. Yeah, there's some really good ones. Just don't get it on your penis.
Oh, that'd be even better. I just don't want to look at it, but just tell me it's there.
Like a picture of you holding the belt up, like in between his legs.
Oh God, why did I say that? It's crap. It's immature. But it was funny at the time in my head.
Well, if anyone's looking to get an Anthony Smith tattoo, you go ahead and do that. I would appreciate it. I'll repost it on my Instagram, and I feel real good about myself.
I've reposted my stuff. Exactly. Of course. Go get a tattoo.
Hell yeah.
In fact, if we get 3 people to send in tattoos of themselves, tattoos of Anthony on themselves, 3 people.
And we'll do something incredible.
We'll do something great.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate like it's 1999.
I'll do a giveaway. I don't even know what I'll give away, but I'll give away something. Yeah, maybe.
Do we have one more question, Anthony?
I got one more.
So
please. Anthony looks fired up.
I'm going to need you guys to channel your inner David Goggins for Jimmy over here.
What's up, boys? Jimmy from Jersey here. I was just wondering, you got any advice for me? I'm 20 years old, don't know what the I'm doing, going through a breakup, and really just trying to see what I can do. So just give me advice for the future. Thank you.
So I was chatting away. I got an Instagram message of some guy that I don't know, just a DM,
right?
Filtered message. And it was I'm assuming a young kid, 21, 22, on the verge of suicide because he's broken up with his girlfriend. He thought they were going to get married. She told him that she doesn't love him anymore. He's lost his job. She's now got a new fella. You know what I mean? And I really, really felt for the guy. So I gave him a little bit of advice back, and he came back again and again and again. And, and I just kept trying to tell him, and it's the same thing I'd said to this guy. One day, you're not going to give a shit. It's like that Tom Hanks bit when he's sitting around with a few other actors. This too will pass. It will pass. No matter how bad it seems, one day, and especially for this guy on Instagram or whatever that guy's situation is there, it wasn't meant to be. And if she says she doesn't love you, you can't force somebody to love you. If she doesn't love you, it's a shitty, sad state of affairs. But that's just something that you're going to have to accept and move on. And then with time, it will pass.
Yeah, I always feel so bad for guys like that or girls that are at that age. And it's like the first... I don't know, they feel so hopeless, whether it's the first real serious breakup or I don't know, like sitting here at 35, I can check back to when I was 20 and I couldn't believe how awful my life was and how terrible I felt and how sad I was. And then I look back at it now, like I'd kill for those problems. You know what I mean? Like, God, I wish I only had those problems I had when I was 20 years old. So, but everything is, it's just, you only know what you know. So it's all you're going through at the time. So it feels like it's the end of the world. And I understand that. And I'm compassionate to that. But in terms of just giving advice moving forward, you really just got to, at least in my opinion, you got to figure out what you want to do, whether that's school or job or career or whatever. Like, what do you actually want to do? Who gives a shit? Like, you have to do things to get from one day to the next. So whether you have a regular, a day-to-day 9 to 5 that you hate, you got to show up to that shit every single day. But in the meantime, in your free time, you got to find out what you really want to do. Once you find something you're passionate about or you really want, you just got to foster that and do whatever you got to do to move towards that. And in terms of, I get it, you're going through a breakup, that sucks. The adult in me would say, you just move forward and you'll find someone better. The man in me would tell you to go slay every 4 you can find until it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah, but that will take your mind off it.
I mean, I don't know how great advice that is, but
no, but I said to the guy, I said, as bad as this sounds, there is plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of other people out there. Going back to that guy's initial question, I guess, Callum's in the same spot. Callum's 22. He's finished college. He doesn't know what he's going to do with himself. He kind of feels a little bit lost. He's kind of, he's done. He's like, shit, what do I do now? And as you said, find your passion. That's the hard part. When the passion shows up, because everyone does have a passion, but it's identifying that, realizing what that is. Once you get that, then that's when the hard work starts. But that's when it becomes a passion project.
Right,
you know what I mean? Now it's
motivating.
fucking easy. Like as soon as I discovered I wanted to be a fighter, I felt alive. Do you know what I mean? I thought, I know what I'm doing. I've got a purpose. I've got something to get out of bed for, something to train for, something that gets me going. Do you know what I mean? I didn't mind training and fighting for almost next to nothing because I had a goal and a dream of where I was trying to go. So I was always very lucky. It's a horrible feeling when you don't know what it is you want to do, where to go, what you're going to do with yourselves, who you even are. Because a lot of what you do or who you are is your identity is attached to that. So I think with time, people generally figure it out, and it just takes a bit of motivation. Like with Callum, I said to him, I said, I can't do this for you. I said, you got to figure this out. I can't, there's nothing I can do. This is just hard work, figuring it out, a bit of soul searching, experience different things in life.
Right, trial and error. Yeah, you got to try a bunch of shit. got to try a bunch of shit. And if you don't love, some people are lucky enough that they find whatever they are passionate about inside of what they actually already do. So whether that's you get a regular job and then you're like, wow, I really like doing this, I want to keep building, and you work your way. Then that's when you see people work their way from the bottom of the totem pole all the way to the CEO, because their passion was climbing the ladder and making things better, and they just were really good at what they already did. And some people, you got to just keep trying shit and say, okay, well, I don't really like that. I don't really like marketing. I don't really like this, but I want to be a business. I want to own a business, and you start growing something, and you just got to figure it out. We couldn't tell you though.
Doing a lot of shit that you don't like will let you figure out what you don't like. Right. You know what I mean? So, I didn't like that. Let's try something else. And you keep going, you figure it out. You'll get there. I think that's a good place to end the episode.
I agree.
Good job, Anthony. Good job, Harrington and Brian.
Good seeing you guys.
Good seeing you. I want to have a little chat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on Thursday. Alexander Rakic will be with us as well. All the best. Goodbye. God bless. Bon voyage.